Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are excited for Renee Jones Hudson to be joining us here today. Yes, she's the CEO from Empowered Life Coaching Solutions, based out of Locust Grove, Georgia, but working with so many all over and really helping those transition, whether you're a veteran, military, and especially those women really rediscover, redefine, and evolve, shall we say. Welcome to the show today. How are you, Renee?
I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's exciting what you do, helping so many women out there who are transitioning from military. And let me ask you, first and foremost, how do we find you? What is your website?
My website is reneajoneshudson.com. It's just my name. It's ReneaJonesHudson.com.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited to have you here and thank you for your service and what you've done for our country. So we want to get to know you first. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself in the background? I know I read as a little girl, you say that a lot kind of, inspired you, but could you share how you got into this career military and give us a little taste of your life?
I'm originally from Jamaica. I migrated here when I was 14, and I'm married. I have two children. I've been married for 27 years. I enlisted in the army when I was 18, and I retired when I was 41. I have to try to remember. But
Oh, yeah.
um, what inspired me to military? It's funny because my dream was to go to college. But and this was misinformation that I received, but because I was told that I couldn't go because I was an immigrant, I went for the next best thing, which was to join the military. The recruiter was in the cafeteria and he said, join the army, go to school. And all I heard was school, and that's what I did.
Oh, wow.
And then 21 and a half years later, I retired. The military was one of the best things that could have happened for me in so many aspects because it gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, even though going in, my only purpose was for college. And I did earn my degrees while I was there. So I never strayed from my goals, but it was so much more. It was so much self-development. I grew up in the military, so
Tell
um,
me, tell me about that. So your family.
well, no, I actually the only person that was in the military was my dad, and he was in the Jamaican army. So it's
Got it.
not
Oh,
even
that's right. Your
close.
family was entrepreneurs. I read it before. Okay, but it
Yeah,
was okay.
yeah, yeah. So they're entrepreneurs, but like not like we see them now. Because growing up, I'm looking at it from a child. I'm looking back, and as a child, they just seem to be doing something. They're just working. But I don't remember any of them doing a 9 to 5. So just me summing it up as an adult, they were all entrepreneurs because they were always doing something for themselves.
Now, let me ask you this. You've done a lot, you've been through a lot. And by the way, your kids, how old are your kids?
Oh, my son is 24. This is his 25th year, and then my daughter is 10. She'll be
Oh,
11 in July.
God bless. Amazing. I have a 7 and 9-year-old, two boys myself. So
Oh,
let me
yeah.
ask now, when did you transition out of the military? And could you tell me a little bit about your specific role, what you did?
Yes, so I transitioned out in 2017, and while I was so I served 13 years as an enlisted, and I was a preventive medicine specialist, which
Wow.
is in civilian is like public health. And then I did 8.5 years as an officer. I was a logistics officer. So that was the charge behind me coming out and opening a business
Yeah,
with
you opened your own business for how many years in fitness? What was that all about? So, oh my,
so
entrepreneur like the family.
yeah. So when I got out, I literally got out and was like, I decided that I just wanted to do something else. and I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what the something else was that I wanted to do. I just knew I did enough in the military. I wanted to try something different. And so when I got out, I was like, oh man, I don't have a plan. I'm
Yeah.
so my husband was like, well, you're good at fitness. Why don't you do? Because I was a competitive bodybuilder for like 6 years. And,
Amazing.
in the military, I would score high on the PT test. So he was like, well, why don't you do that? So I did. I opened up a fitness studio. It was very successful I opened it in 2017 and it closed when the pandemic. So we moved
Yeah.
to Georgia 2020. So it was very successful. I had amazing clients who were all business owners. And that's where I got
Wow.
that's where I learned that, okay, you need more than just your military leadership and skills. It only takes you so far. You do have to have some you do have to understand how to run a business.
Wow.
So,
And I know you also mentioned in your notes that you recommend surrounding yourself with people and things that align with your desires, right? And
yes,
who you will
yes.
become. And I know we're going to focus, on this unique challenge that many, especially women, face, right? Transitioning military veteran women, and of course, how your services are able to help support them. And just also off the top, I just want to make sure everybody knows the website one more time. Renee spelled ReneaJonesHudson.com. And by the way, are you on social media too? Can we find you
I
there?
am. So I'm Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at Renee Jones Hudson. They're all the same. So I made
All
it
right.
easy. So it's easy for people to find me. It's just my name at Renee Jones Hudson on all three platforms.
Beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, do you work with men as well?
I do work with men, but like I said, my
Yeah.
and the reason I came from a female standpoint is because we are so strong as women. We feel like we can take on the world and take on our problems, and sometimes we don't know
Yep.
how to ask for help.
God bless.
Sometimes,
You said it, girl. Oh, yeah, for sure.
and then
Self-care, there's a lot that we need to focus on. You could
yeah.
benefit from. And I know you offer workshops, so many things, but let's talk specifically about some of these challenges that women face transitioning into civilian life.
Yes. So as I mentioned before, I grew up in the military. So I lived as in a civilian community, but I worked my whole life was military practically. So getting out, going in at 18, getting out at 41, that's like lifetimes. So getting out, you get out under this assumption that you can just fall right into the civilian routine,
Okay.
but you can't because it's a completely different lifestyle, community, mindset, and everything. So for myself, if I'm going to speak from that perspective, when I got out, fitting in was hard, and it's because the way I thought wasn't the same way like another a
Yeah.
female thought. I've gone through some things, so I'm resilient. I know how to, like, okay, I got to figure this out. This is not going to work for me. And then we had so many resources available to us in the military, so not having those resources like readily available,
Okay.
you had to learn to say, okay, I need help. Where do I you had to figure out where to go find those resources, which is where let's talk about the finances too. Like
Sure.
we were we had that financial protection. We knew when we were going to get paid, how much we were going to get paid. We had benefits, all the things that we were so used to having, that security, that sense of security. Especially for a retiree, it's cut. We still get that,
Yeah.
but for those people who don't retire, they're not getting that. And it's a matter of them trying to navigate through those channels to get to kind of fall back into some of the things that they had, which is not easy. um the military too is like a community. We support each other, and like it's funny
Uh,
because if I meet another military woman, we don't have to be stationed at the same place, but we know the language.
yep.
So me talking to someone else, sometimes it's like, it you can still have the conversation, but the
Yeah.
experience so much different, because in my head I might be like, well, you can just do that, and they're like, no, that's hard. So it's just that there's so much to it. It's really like I'll use the word brotherhood, sisterhood, because it is that. It's just a different language altogether. It's what you're facing compounded with combat that we've experienced, nights and stuff without our children, like it's just so much more to it.
Well, also at this time, I would love to hear, the process and, how it works because, with all these specific challenges, people are coming to you. And how does coaching work? And what are some of the things that you can help coach with specifically?
Yeah. So one of the things I do help coaching with is that mindset shift.
Uh-huh.
So because I stayed in military mode for a while, and sometimes I'm still there, but I'm now able to recognize, I'm more aware that okay, you have sometimes I'm like, how do you say this as a civilian? Like understanding how to communicate and translate your services, and how you who you are to someone who may not understand how you speak as while you were in the military. We offer the financial piece on, helping them to understand the security that they have and how they can create it as a civilian. Even though it may not be that accessible, we just have to do a little bit more work. And then as far as the fitness piece, so fitness for me is the mental, emotional,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, and the physical. So a lot of times we focus more on the physical, which for a lot of military, sometimes we that's the part that we actually neglect because we've been doing it for so long. We're like, I don't want, we don't have, I don't have to
Yep.
do PT anymore. So that's how I coach them. It's a holistic approach to fitness and wellness, and then I tag on the financial piece, just getting them to understand different ways to save, different ways to build that security that they want, and just empowering them along the way.
Well, could you share some examples of the work you're doing and some of the people you've helped? We always love hearing, testimonials and to talk more about the specific programs. And by the way, if you go to the website, there's some client testimonials there. Can I
Yeah.
just read one and then you can tell me some
Yes,
more? But
you can.
this
Yes.
person, Dominica, was saying that Renee allows and provides you with a safe space to be vulnerable and really dive deep. She allows you to self reflect and helps you to analyze your patterns and behaviors without any judgment. My experience, excuse me, with habit change coaching has been not just life changing, but life saving. I've had breakthroughs, experienced a lot of moments of self discovery, and in caps, I've changed habits. After going through my sessions with Renee, I feel empowered and mentally, physically rejuvenated. I've learned what works for me and my body and what doesn't. I've learned what works for me mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and what doesn't. All it takes is choice to commit to yourself. If I could do it all over again, I would. It's absolutely worth it. You can't put a price on your life. And again, that's from Dominique. That's just one person. I would love to hear some more client stories about how you've helped people transition.
Yes. So, and that's definitely what I try to do, create a space where they can talk freely. A lot of times the things that you can talk to with a coach or a therapist, you don't really want to say with, your friends or your spouse. So I create that and I help them to recognize that everything starts with you. No matter what it is, everything starts with you. So we dive into the self, help them to see, what role are you playing in whatever it is you're doing, and how can you break through some of those programming that you have to get to the other side. So with
Oh,
that also, that's like, because for me is just identifying your role in every situation that you're in, and then
yeah.
we just add on the physical piece, the and work through the different challenges. So the coaching session, it's not structured because it is tailored to each person. So it's whatever you come to me with, and you're saying this is what I want to work on, and then I add a little bit more value to that,
Yeah.
for you.
Well, also, you mentioned here you're at a place where you're understood. You offer, to get started right here on the website, 678-653-6695. And at this time, would you mind sharing all the ways we can contact you?
Yes, so you can contact me on my website. You can also contact me by email. It's contact@reneejoneshudson.com. And my phone number, as she just mentioned, is 678-653-6663. I forgot my number. 678-653-6695. So,
Perfect.
yes.
Great. Well, also, you have some other programs, some other specific coaching programs listed on your site. How do what somebody needs, when they meet you? Because, yeah, because there's a few different ones. I was reading about the 90-minute intensive, the VIP day. There's a few empowered coaching.
Yeah. So with the 90-minute intensive, that's for a person that just kind of needs some direction right now, right? Like they just feel stuck in the moment. And with the VIP, we sit entire day and we plan a strategy. We plan out what you need to do we'll meet again in another 30 days and I'll give you homework. We build out what some of the things you can work on and I give you the homework. We contact you. We do another meeting for an hour and a half. That's all part of the VIP day. And then we just revisit what we planned out in that session, that whole day session. And then with the 8 week coaching, that is just one on one for 8 weeks. And it's more in depth because you get a
Oh,
strategy and every week follow up what you did. Yes. So um and how I know it's just we do an onboarding call first and then I you get to pick from there what best aligns with what you're trying to accomplish.
got it. And how long does somebody need normally to work with you to fix things? And what other things are they trying to fix in their lives? Is it not just about job and employment, even family life and all as well?
Yes, and how long they need to work with me, it depends on them. If they feel like they only needed a 90-minute session, then I encourage them to go until they feel comfortable. However, like, that's it's up to them. And we do work on setting boundaries. We do talk about a little bit of mental health. I'm not like I can address some things, help them navigate through that, and then help them with getting through some of the post-military challenges that they may feel. And of course, fitness is also a part of my program.
Wow. That's what I was gonna say, because you're there. Are you a licensed personal trainer or what? Tell me your background in that.
So my background, I started out as a personal trainer. So yes, I am licensed to personal train, but I've even though I do the personal training, my focus is on helping I'm on coaching women through those challenges.
Got it. Well, also, on your website, you have some events coming up. It's some empowerment guides. Is this a book, a downloadable book, or is this, what is the empowerment guide all about?
Oh, that is a book that I anthology that I co-wrote with 30 other women. And it is just everyone's stories and how they've overcome challenges in their lives and how just encouraging you and giving you the resource that you need to do the same.
All right. Well, also want to point out here, if you are just tuning in, we can go to reneejoneshudson.com, her website, to talk more, to see more about her, and check out some of her activities. I know you've been interviewed before. You also have a blog on there, and you really are here to help people. And again, you can also coach about healthy living, nutrition, right? Fitness and finances. That's something that I think people have a little bit of trouble in. Could you give me some details about the financial planning and coaching, I should say, that you help with?
So the finances, that's also a mindset shift. It's from different levels. Coming from someone that coming myself, not coming from, you know, I come from a humble background. I guess that's the term to use. So understanding how your relationship with money and, understanding how to better manage and support yourself with the money, especially like I said, coming out of the military, with having all the securities that we have, the paycheck, the health, just learning that from the financial literacy piece behind money, because there's a mindset on money too that we all like, if we don't have it, to kind of hone in on in order to be to manage your money successfully.
Got it. I know that's always, a hard thing sometimes. And any tips that you want to give to our listeners today, whether it be in finances or with growth development, with nutrition, what are some of the things that, that you wanted to, discuss for today? We still have 5 minutes left. So again, this being your first show, I know there's a lot of notes here. So I just want to make sure we're covering everything that's important to you.
So one of the things I just want to encourage, the listeners is just believe in something that's bigger than you. Understand that the place that you're trying to get to is never going to be a straight path, but if you just trust and believe in the process, you'll get there. I believe in God, and I always believe that He'll take me. He never takes me where I'm not supposed to be. And then another thing is, be open to the journey. Be patient with your growth, and believe that your steps are ordered, because no matter how challenging things become, you're always right where you're supposed to be. And I
Now,
think,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and that just really applies to life in itself. With everything that you do, you'll meet on roadblocks, and it may seem like, what, I can't. This is it, but that's the time you really need to push for it, because that's where you're growing.
Got it. Well, let me ask you this. What are some things that you kind of want to leave off with, in a sense. You talked a little bit about in your notes about the things you learned to value the older you got. And would you mind sharing some of your insight to that and what you could bring here to some of the people out there who may be in need of this type of help in transitioning?
Yes, one of the things I've learned as I got older is knowing when to rest. I've had coaches talk about it all the time, but until I actually, embraced it for myself, is just resting. And it doesn't mean physically laying down, even though that is part of it. It's also, resting in the space that you're in. If you're feeling troubled, take some time to understand what it is that's troubling you. The other thing I've learned is gratitude. Be grateful for everything in every way, in wherever you are, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, because, you know, gratitude is one of those things that actually creates more good for you.
Yeah.
Like, just be grateful with the little that you have and the lot that you have.
Yeah, it's so true. And to each and every day, I love gratitude. And, I have the two little ones, and I just tell them every day, you have to wake up, be thankful, be grateful, and, all those types of positive, reinforcements, I should say. I really believe in that. And just want to ask also, you're here empowering people as a life coach with their health, with their wellness. Again, as a retired Army veteran, if you are just tuning in, Renee Jones Hudson is joining us here, also international best-selling author. We got to talk more about that and about your store, recipe books, workout guides. Bring it on, Renee.
Oh, we're talking about it now?
Yeah, whatever. Are you
Okay.
kidding me? If you'd like to.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So, like I said, the international best-selling author, that was with the anthology. I was very excited for that. The recipe books, you can find them on my website, and they're just to help facilitate your growth as far as physical fitness, nutrition, with creating a healthy lifestyle, it's ongoing work, and which is why I take a holistic approach, because it starts with your mind, and in doing things repeatedly. Some days you're not going to feel like it, but just understanding that it is a process, and to take your time and do it right and do it slow. um what was the other thing you said?
A best-selling author.
Yeah, I spoke about the book, the empowerment guy. She said yes to herself, and I mean the title says it all, because so many times we do not say yes to who we are. We do not say yes to the things that we want to do. We do not say yes to who we can become, and that's why the empowerment guide was created, to help people, to get people to see the stories of other women and see themselves in those stories, and take from that what they can, take from each story what they can, to empower themselves.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. So if someone out there needs your help, remind us all the ways we can contact you and schedule your free consultation.
You can definitely schedule a free consultation with me from the website, or you can email me at contact@reneajoneshudson.com. That's ReneaJonesHudson.com. And
Beautiful.
yes.
Well, thank you again for being here. Pleasure getting to know you. Pleasure getting to see you here. And thank you for doing what you do. And guys, please check her out. You have everything you need to be everything you need to be. That's one of her slogans. Love it. And thank you again for being here again. Empowered Life Coaching Solutions. Renee, have a fantastic day.
You as well, and thank you. Thanks for
Thank you
having me.
so much. Looking forward. Hope we get to speak again.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.